Hi everybody, it's great to see you again. You may recall that last weekend I did a 24-hour track race. My goal was to break 200 kilometers or as near as possible. So stay tuned to see how things went. Well, my 24-hour race last weekend didn't quite go as planned. I did want the 200 kilometres. I ended up with 173 or thereabouts, which is around about 108 miles. Now, the lead up to the race was quite stressful. You may recall that the SURVIVORFEST 24-hour, which was the original race, actually went virtual. I was planning to run on my local track, but unfortunately there was a track meeting that we found out about at the last minute. So there was a lot of scrambling around, lots of phone calls, lots of emails, trying to find an alternative track. And it was very stressful, it's very tiring. I nearly threw in the towel a couple of times and said, I'm not running now. But in the end, a few friends rallied together and we managed to eventually secure the track at the Strathcona Athletic Park over in Sherwood Park. Now, on race day, the weather was really warm and it was around about 25 degrees, real feel around about 30 degrees Celsius. Living here in Alberta, I'm not quite used to those temperatures anymore. It's a little bit different than living down in Phoenix when we used to get the 100 plus. So I did struggle on race day. I think I messed up my electrolytes. I probably didn't drink enough. I went for something like 6 or 7 hours without actually going for a pee. I was on track for the first 10 or 11 hours, but then the sickness overtook me and I ended up being sick behind the tent, which is something that I've become accustomed to in these ultra races now. I managed to get going again, but unfortunately an hour or two later it was back to the same situation where I was throwing up again and not feeling too good. I did actually end up lying down for half an hour just to try and let my tummy settle. I had a snuggle with the dogs at something like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, lying down in the tent. And then I managed to get some mac and cheese down me. I managed to get a good cup of tea down me and I managed to get going again. The night was very short. It didn't go dark until something like 11 o'clock at night, and by 4 o'clock that daylight was coming again. And I knew that heat would be back. And I really wasn't ready to brace that heat and the sun again, and I just was not looking forward to it whatsoever. And I found that I wasn't actually enjoying the run. I'd already passed 100 miles at that point. I wasn't really bothered about carrying on to the end, but I did say that in the last hour I would join everybody else on the track to bring it home. A friend then actually told me that the virtual race over in Montreal, the lady there that was leading it had got to 170 kilometres. So in that last hour and a half, my goal was to try and break 170 kilometres. And as I say, I ended up with 173. All in all, it was a great day to be there running around with friends. There was just 7 runners on the track instead of possibly 30 or 40 who had the original event gone ahead. But it was nice to finally have some company out there. Sometimes it's a little lonely, but the support from the support crews was fantastic. We got people dropping in and out throughout the day, just cheering us all on and giving us some encouragement. And I was happy with my performance. At least I am now. I was a little bit disappointed to start with, but I'm happy with how things went now. So now that the 24-hour race is out of the way, what's next on the agenda? Well, 6 weeks today, I'm going to be taking on the Canadian Death Race over in Grande Cache, 125 kilometres over 3 mountain summits. Now, I did this race 2 years ago and I finished in just over 18.5 hours. Given the COVID situation this past year or so, I don't know if I'm quite as fit and strong as I was back then, but my plan over the next couple of weeks is to recover from the 24-hour and of course get my climbing legs back and my trail running legs back. And it all starts today out here in beautiful Parkland County, where I've got a 10-mile trail run to do. Having spent the past few weeks running on the track on a weekend, it feels fantastic being out here today, having this dirt beneath my feet, seeing all this green. It's beautiful. It really is nice, and hearing those birds sing sure feels like summer. That's one of the things I love about trail running, the natural obstacles that you encounter. I'm not sure I'll be able to hurdle this, but they're certainly jumpies. Woo! I've never actually been along this trail before. It's very easy running, not particularly hilly, not particularly technical, but it's certainly good to have something different from a track or road surface. I guess this is where the climb starts. Looks like there's some more stairs here. But this climbing is fantastic because I need this when I'm climbing those mountains in Grand Cache in 6 weeks' time. And there's more, and these ones are definitely pretty steep. This is hard work, but this is what I needed. Gotta get ready for that race. This said, you know, through road, I'm kind of hoping I can find a trail system at the end of here that'll take me up to Tucker's Fields or Bunchbury Meadows. We'll see. Okay, so it looks like I've found a trail that comes off that range road. And it's a single track trail, and of course this is my favourite kind of terrain. It's lovely. Although I do think it's just a cut through as opposed to a proper trail, but even so. There's a crossing ahead, so I am assuming that I'm back on the Devonian Trail, which I'm pretty happy with because it shows I've got a good sense of direction. I kind of knew which way I needed to go, but I don't usually come out on these range roads, but I kind of had a hunch that I needed to go this way. So yep, that's what I needed to see. And I'm back on track again. So I'm just going to do a couple of miles around here in Tucker's Field. This is gently rolling grassy hills, absolutely gorgeous around here. Very green at this time of year. Sometimes there's a possibility of moose or deer and other animals around here. I've only ever seen a moose out here just the once, but you never know your luck on a sunny day. I've probably said a number of times that these single track trails really are my favourite. Much more in touch with nature. And it's also pretty easy to get lost with some of these little trails that sneak off to the sides. But in general, I know where I am. I do usually have a pretty good sense of direction, which always comes in handy with those trail races, where sometimes the flagging is minimal and you really do need to stay on your toes and look for where you go. So it looks like we're back on one of the main trails here again. So we'll go this way. So I'm here now at the junction of Buntry Meadows, and this area is actually a nature reserve. They don't allow dogs or bikes or anything. It's always very, very quiet. You do see the occasional hiker, but it doesn't get overcrowded. And yeah, you can do a nice little 5 or 6k loop around here. I've never seen any wildlife through here, but you can certainly hear those birds singing, and it is very, very peaceful and tranquil. Now, I'm not running through here today because I've only got a 10-miler to do, and I'm already just over 10 kilometres, so I need to start heading back now, and I'm going to be going back a slightly different way, and a way that I'm quite familiar with. First trail run in the past couple of months complete. That's 10 miles done, and I'm really, really happy with how that went. I probably got a couple of 1,000 feet of climbing in there. There's still a lot of work to do. I could certainly feel those climbs in my legs. But all in all, I'm actually very happy with how things went. There's obviously still a lot of work to do before the death race in 6 weeks' time. But given that I haven't been on these trails for the past few weeks, I'm pretty happy with how today's gone. Feeling a little bit warm now, definitely in need of some food. So I'm going to head off home and get some lunch. I hope you've enjoyed joining me on this run today. It's a bit of a mishmash of things on this channel. We do a little bit of camping, we do some gear reviews, and of course, being a dog lover and an ultra runner as well, there's certainly a good mix on here. So if you do like any of that kind of stuff, please do consider subscribing. And of course, like this video and hit that little bell so that you get notifications when all these videos become available. For now though, thanks again as ever for joining me, and I shall see you all again next time.